The White House today approved the release of thousands of documents related to the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy. He was shot when his motorcade passed under the school book depository in Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas. JFK was just 46 years old. Let's go ahead and bring in Washington Post reporter Ozzy Pabera. Thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thanks for having me.
So more than 500 documents have been withheld by the archives in full, and more than 2,000 documents partially withheld up until this point. But now there are more files coming out. What do we know about what they might tell us?
So the basic contours of what happened has already been put out, but what still isn't known and what some researchers are really curious about is what did the CIA know about Lee Harvey Oswald before 1963? Now, that question has vexed researchers for a very long time. And I spoke with some of them today, and they said the release of these documents, which has been delayed, and what got released today was even partially redacted, they say that that central question still has not been answered. And they question how dedicated the agency is years later to even revealing this kind of information.
Interesting. And this is all happening in an effort to be more transparent. But is there anything that has to stay a secret about this case? What won't be revealed?
So the government has an interest in not revealing anything that would harm national security. Everyone sort of understands that. But it's been so many years, it's hard to imagine what took place back then that could affect national security today. And there are some pretty strict contours as to what would qualify for that. It would have to be specific. It would have to be actionable. It couldn't just be that if something was embarrassing, that would not be a cause for withholding information. And what some researchers who have looked at this batch of information have said is that that is exactly what may be happening. It's hard to fathom what national security interest is currently being served by withholding and redacting some information at this point.
Clearly, people want to learn more. Can you explain the reason all the files haven't and aren't being released?
So in the immediate aftermath of what happened, there were a lot of questions. And remember, this was in an era before the internet, before Twitter. So the way that people transmitted information was through documents, telegrams that were being sent from stations overseas and from within agencies. And in the immediate aftermath, the government really tried to figure out literally what happened and who knew what when. And it has taken years. There was legislation passed that said after 25 years or so, every document that is available to be released should be released. And even with that, things like the pandemic and COVID made it difficult to release things on time. Even under former President Donald Trump, who said he wanted to release all these documents, there were delays. President Biden has said he wants a number of these documents released, and yet again, there were delays. So researchers have ended up filing a lawsuit saying you have to start releasing this information that everyone says should be released. And it's sort of hard to know why certain documents are being redacted, decades later. But there are ongoing lawsuits and ongoing fights. And some of the researchers who I spoke to today said they are still planning to press their case in the court if they have to.
You bring up a good point about social media. It would be interesting to see how all of this would play out if we were in this time back then. Well, the release of more documents ought to provide more clarity and insight. Washington Post reporter Ozzy Pabera, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.